Hello and welcome to the Geek Zone. I am Will and this is World of Tanks. Hi guys, yes I'm back. Sorry I didn't put any videos out, or many videos out. I think I put like 2 videos out last week and no patch zone. So sorry about that guys. Been really busy over the last week or so. So if you do want to go find out why, I did like a small vlog sort of video thing. So I'll put that in the description below guys. And so if you want to find out exactly why I didn't put any videos out and what's going on with the channel and with me, then please go watch that. And I think it's informative. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section below. And yeah, of course, give it a like if you did like it, and give me a question. Maybe I'll do some more in future. Who knows? We'll decide what happens with that, or at least you guys will. If you like it, then you like it. If you don't, then you don't. But anyway, the E100. This one. Still can't talk as usual. This game was sent in by James Julius Willett. Yes, Willett. This guy's a pretty damn good player, not gonna lie. He's pretty damn fantastic. Oh, before I get on, yes, this is the 8.6. So we're on 8.6 now, as you guys should know. And so I have no mods at the moment. Sorry, I will get my XVM back on shortly. But at the moment, I am no modo, zilcho, no sound mods, no nice fancy map mods or anything like that at the moment. So sadly we can't see any of that jizzles, but yeah, it'll get on shortly. But anyway, yes, sorry, this video this replay was sent in by Willett. He's a very good skilled player and he loves this machine to bits. This is the E100, the tier 10, one of the tier 10 German heavy tanks. Of course the other one is the Moz, and tomorrow I will be playing well, not playing, I'll be reviewing a Moz replay sent in by Swedish, so thank you Swedish for that. So if you guys like the Moz or are interested in the 100 or the Moz, then go check that out. That'll be up tomorrow, probably around 3 o'clock-ish at the latest. But no, that's looking to be quite an interesting game, so I advise go watching that. But yes, as I said before, this is the E100. This thing is a box. Look at it. It's like it's an actual tank in the sense of every single word. So anyway, let's get on to see some stats. You guys seem to like me doing like stats about the tank to begin with, so let's do this. This tank is a tank. It's incredibly beasty. 250 armor on the front of its turret. So these bits here, 250 armor. It is also slightly sloped. And then you've got the gun mantle, which is again is even sloped, even more sloped. Weak spots, I believe later on in the video it shows you here and here are weak spots. So these boxes here are weak spots. Then you have this thing here. I think that's a viewing hatch or a commander's hatch. That thing's quite a big weak spot as well. So shoot those and you should penetrate. Again, side of the turret. This thing here, angled quite nicely if I'm honest. If you are hugging this tank, if you are below it here, shooting into its turret, it increases the angle, so you're gonna be increasing its armor. It's got 150 armor on the front, on the rear side of the tank, and if you are hugging it, so if you're here and shooting up at the tank, you're increasing its armor. So you shouldn't be doing that. If you're about where the leopard is, you're increasing it slightly, but not by a dramatic amount. So anything, if you are anywhere between where the leopard or further, then the angle shouldn't be too bad, but there it's still angled. Try not to hug this tank, it just increases its armor. The back of the tank, the back of the turret is 150 again. It's not as angled, and the weak spot is that giant target on the back. But yeah, it's not as angled, but again it is still very slightly angled, and it's still 150 on the sides, and the back are pretty damn beasty, especially when you angle this tank properly. I will get onto that bit in a little while. Willett's actually going to show us how to perfectly angle this tank. So hull, it's got 200 on the front, but again it's angled at an extremely nice angle there. As you can see, that is very nice. It is slightly got a very slight curvature to it, as well as it having a nice angle. And then on the sides it's got 130. I actually believe this is slightly spaced armor as well on the hull. Well, it is spaced armor on the front, I believe. It's lower glacis is quite a large lower glacis, so nice target for high penetration guns. But again, it's got a very nice angle to that. And if the tank is angled at this sort of degree, it's going to be very hard to penetrate it. So yeah, again, it's got spaced armor, I think, and that's quite a nice angle, and if you're shooting it like this, the chances are it's going to bounce, especially at 200 armor plus. Angling a tank increases its armor dramatically, especially with something like this. Then you have the side. That's 130 on the side hull. That's again pretty damn beasty. It's got a very nice curvature, as you can see there, so it's pretty damn. This part here is really nicely angled. This part not so angled, but I do believe it's spaced. As you can see, the tracks can pretty much eat most shots you're shooting there. There's no real gaps to shoot the hull there. It is pretty damn beasty. The side skirts cover it up quite nicely with that spacing. Same on that side, obviously. The rear of this tank is quite a big target, really. It's a big tank. It's got 150 armor on the rear, so it's got more on the rear of the hull armor wise than it has on the sides. So that's quite surprising. Don't see that very often in World of Tanks. And the back of it is actually slightly angled, but if you have a gun that can penetrate 150, you are going to hit an engine block most likely there, or you're going to hit something in the way of its engine directly there. So that's quite a nice way to shoot if you're looking directly at it, but again, it increases with the angle dramatically, so it's angled like this, and you're going to shoot there. The chances are you might hit it, but it's a good chance that it'll bounce. That's going to be 150 plus armor, maybe nearly up to 200, depending on the angle he's at. I mean, it's pretty damn angled anyway, and you angle it like this, it's just going to increase even more. The gun, this gun's pretty beasty in the way of damage. You got to admit, it's got 135 penetration. At least I think that's the gun he's using. Let's have a look. Yep, 135 penetration. He is actually using the 150 meter armor piercing PZGR 42. As you can see, he's loaded up with some HE, 25 HEs, 20 AP rounds, and 5 high explosive anti-tank rounds. The gun penetration on this is only 135, so carrying at least 5 or more shots of high explosive anti-tank rounds is very useful to have. The penetration goes up dramatically and it becomes very useful. This tank does struggle penetrating tier 9 and 10 tanks. Yeah, so you've got to be definitely placing your shots with this gun. It's got a rate of fire of 3 shots per second, so pretty damn long reload on that, with an accuracy of 0.40. so the accuracy again is not that great. The aiming time of 2.86, so the aiming time is not too bad. It's not the worst I've seen, definitely not the best though. But the thing this tank can really do, the damage of this gun is insane. 750 damage per shot. If you penetrate with this tank, whoa man, their health is gonna fly down. As you will see in this game, it's pretty damn beastie, and it's huge. Look at it. I think I could probably stick my head down that. But anyway, so we've talked about the armor, we've talked about the hull, we've talked about the gun itself, tracks. It's the fact it's got slightly spacing, some weak spots. This tank doesn't have many weak spots, as you can see, a little viewport there. This bit here, artillery wise, pretty damn big target, but you do have these tanks. You have about, I would say, 25% of the tank that is actually sloped. When it comes down to artillery, you have the small part of the about 50% of the actual turret, which isn't, and then you have the rear of the tank and this little bit here which isn't either. So the artillery is quite a big target, to be fair. For an artillery, it's a big hefty bit of tank, and the artillery love to shoot it. But anyway, so we're talking about the gun, we talked about that. The traverse speed is 18 degrees, so the traverse speed is slow as fuck. This is the turret traverse. It's slow, it's really slow. So anyway, the power of this engine, it's a slow tank, it's not a fast tank. You shouldn't be buying this tank for speed because it doesn't have it. It does have a power of 1,200 brake horsepower, which is pretty fucking damn beastie. But the turret speed traverse of its tracks is 20, so not the worst heavy I've ever seen, but certainly nothing like the IS-7. The track traverse, how fast the tank actually turns itself, is not the fastest again in the world. This thing is not exactly a speed freak. It should be used, you should be using its armor, it should be angling properly at this sort of angle, and we're going to get on actually to the turret and how to angle this thing properly. I think I've spoken about most of the highlights of this tank, which is pretty much just gun and its armor. Really quickly, ammo rack. If you can penetrate it, it's around here, on this side, and here. You're looking at an engine block of here-ish on this side, When we look at the rear of the tank, you're looking at fuel tanks around here. Ammo rack is a weak spot. They're right there. And the other side, you're looking at similar places for the ammo rack. You're looking at ammo rack here, ammo racks here. Again, the engine columns around there, and massive fuel tank. As normal on tanks, weak. This cog and this cog are weak to take out tracks, and you can shoot through them quite easily. If a tank is angled to you like this, if you shoot through here, on the E75, because of this plate here, it's going to be harder to shoot. But if you can shoot through that, you're going to penetrate most likely if your penetration is good enough. But anyway, let's get on and watch the game. So, I spoke about this tank is slightly different than normal tanks to angle, and the reason is it's basically two tanks. You've got to think of it like two tanks. You have the hull, which you have to angle like most tanks, to most heavy and medium tanks, to actually bounce some shots. So angling it at around this sort of angle right here, with shots coming at you like this angle, is quite good. But now, Willet has perfectly shown us, thank you Willet for that, if you are looking directly at an enemy, so if an enemy is coming onto you like this, if you angle the turret like this, it becomes stupidly bouncy. Like tier 10s bounce off this bouncy. As you can see, the matchup is pretty damn beastly. We have a lot of tier 10s, a lot of tier 9 tanks here, a few scouts, and some pretty hefty artillery. Thank you 8.6, I must commend you. The artillery numbers since 8.6 have gone decreased by massively. And I love you artillery drivers, I love the people who are playing artillery. You personally are amazing, I just hate the tanks you drive, you're assholes. But anyway, so we're going to speed this up a little bit so Willet can get into position and show us how much damage he soaks up. This is a real soaky game. There's about 5,000 damage output altogether, but soaking up around, I think it's around 11,000, which is insane, absolutely insane. 11,000 damage soaked. Anyway, let's slow it down here. As you can see, he runs into quite a few enemies. They have actually changed this map slightly. As you can see, they now have this rock overhanging. They've brought it more forward towards us. They've added in this rock here, this slope. It doesn't go all the way around the corner. The corner has been more hidden from artillery fire. So if you're over here, like this E75, you're not going to be getting good shots off. This E75 is in a bad position. He won't not be getting shots off in tanks over here because they are covered by this hill. Same with artillery. They're not going to be doing a very good job trying to fire on these. You need to be firing here if you're artillery, and here if you're over here. But no, they've changed the map quite dramatically. So right here, he starts taking shots straight away, and they are IS-8, E100, IS-7, IS-8, and a T11OE5, and another T11OE5. So some seriously beefy tanks there. They've got 4 tier 10s and 2 tier 9s. So this is a pretty damn big matchup. You are looking at an IS-7 and an E100 here versus 6 enemy tanks tier 9 and above. He is outnumbered and outmatched in almost every way. But watch. As you can see, he uses this rock to hide his armor, and then he starts angling. Now, he angles just a little bit too much, and they do get some shots into his armor there. He's angling at such an angle, though, that look, 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 1 bounce there, 2 bounce there, 3 bounce there. This shot was because he angled a bit too much, and it led a flat surface for them to penetrate. But he's hiding behind the rock, so he doesn't have to focus on his weaker hull armor, but still bouncing. He moves in for a shot, takes a shot into the weak spot of that E100. Still angles, shooting, angling, bounce, bounce, bounce. There's another shot there. Now this was actually, that shot, he just took damage there, and that's because the E100 went for a weak spot there. And what Willet was doing was moving back and forth to try and not let the enemy tanks hit the weak spots. So that shot there, he was well angled. He was moving constantly to try and not let his weak spots be targeted so easily, and that was a lucky fucking shot from the E100. The E100 penetrated right on a weak spot as Willet was moving, so good shot or lucky shot from the E100, well played. But Willet keeps on angling, bounces again, keeps on moving up and down, keeps on moving. You can see the tanks are bouncing, he shoots to a weak spot, slows back towards 1 speed. Again, keeps angling, keeps bouncing. He's bouncing so much shells, so many shells. And him and an IS-7 are waiting for backup, and they're holding off a really strong force of enemy tanks. Most of the enemy team's strongest tanks are over this corner, and Willet is just angling shooting, angling, shooting, and playing this tank almost perfectly. Actually, not even almost. This is a pretty perfect play. Covering up his lower glaciers. He is angling beautifully, shooting weak spots, angling, shooting, waits up for backup. He holds off a huge amount of tanks straight to the weak point of that E100 there. As I spoke to you at the beginning, I did say that Commander's Hatch, Commander's Port was a bit of a weak spot there. As you can see, he does take a little bit more damage from the T11, but he's still bouncing shots. He's still taking a few shots again on his frontal hull there. Few shots as he shoots the shots. They are shooting him through the front plate there, and there's a shot in the weak spot. But to be fair, the amount of bounces he is taking is insane. Oh, there's a miss there. You can just hear through the sound how many bounces he's actually taking. Beautiful shot there. Smacks but no damage. Angling, moving. There's not much more to say about this replay apart from how beautiful it is. Waiting for backup. He knows he shouldn't really move. He doesn't have the gun penetration to really go for these tanks. And he doesn't need to. Now this is where it gets a bit iffy and he gets a bit lucky. IS-8 comes along and shoots him in the rear. There's the Leopard 1 also puts a shot. Takes a shot at him. He angles his tank back to this sort of angle. Gets tracked, luckily, takes out the Leopard 1. He's in an alright angle here for the IS-8 to bounce some shots, so he moves up at the angle, similar angle. The IS-8 still then puts another shot into his track, and he finishes him off there, putting a shot just about to kill him. There you go, into the polar, and finishes off the IS-8. Now the enemy team there has been absolutely destroyed, so well played, Willett. Look at this tank, absolutely beautiful. That's a win for Willett. Look at the amount of team members that actually survived. Well commended, Willett. You play this tank absolutely beautifully, mate. I've seen him in person play this tank absolutely incredibly, and it is fantastic. As you can see, he didn't use one anti-tank high explosive, and he still got some serious damage off, I believe. He also fired no HE shots, and he fired some beautiful shots, doing some serious damage as well. He was only firing the normal shells, so you can do some serious damage with just all the normal armor piercing rounds. I would still say carry some just for sticky situations, but nevertheless he did some pretty damn awesome shooting. So let's go have a look at the after battle reports here. So as you can see, E100 87,000 credits, very nice. 1.6k game, very nice as well. Steel wall, we'll see how much he actually got for the steel wall, and a very nice sniper badge for aiming those shots into weak spots with this gun. Not great penetration, so you do need to aim for those weak spots. 2 hits into the E100, 2 hits into the IS-7, 3 hits into the T11, OE5, and 1 hit into the Leopard 1, killing him. 2 kills there. Really nice gun. Does huge amounts of damage. So let's go have a look at the team score. Top of the game. Easily top of the game. Look at the amount of damage there's. 5,100. Jesus, man. 1,000, almost 1,000 above that T11 OE3. And more than... Look, okay. The only person who was close to him was the Object 268 on the enemy team. And Willett still kicked his ass by almost, just over 1,000. 500-ish, I believe. So kicking his ass there. And really doing fantastic plays with the E100. This is how you meant to drive this tank. If you have an E100 and you seem to be getting destroyed in it, people keep penetrating your armor, it's because you're not angling properly. You really need to treat that the turret on top like a second tank, and make sure it's shoot, turn, shoot, angle, and make sure your actual hull armor's angled as well, or taking cover like Willett did there. 12 shots fired, 11 direct hits, 8 penetrations, 8 penetration shots. So 8 of his shots did damage, 8 of his shots penetrated, and 5,100 damage. Fuck me, that is some serious damage. 5,100 damage is some serious hits. But this is where the game really shows how the hell you play this tank. 26 hits received, 9 penetrations, non-penetrations 17. Out of 26 shots into him, 17 didn't penetrate. That's a really good margin. 11,660 potential damage received. Wow. Absolutely wow. I put a KV4 up replay the other day, and no offense Swedish, but E100 outplayed your ass. Seriously outplayed your ass. Though Swedish has a Moz replay, so we can see how much he does, but I do not think it's anywhere near 11,000. Wow, that is insane. You do enemy spotted 2, enemies damaged 4, and enemies destroyed 2, with a damage upon detecting was actually 1,000, which is pretty damn good for a heavy tank. Travelled 1.88 kilometers. He got 43,000 credits earned in this game. It's not bad at all, but you have got to remember they have actually increased the earnings of tier 10 tanks. Actually, they've increased the earnings of 6 to 9, and then in tier 10 tanks even more as well. So just so you can play them a bit more. So fantastic game, absolutely a beautiful match there. Very well played. If you did like this video, please do give us a like and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Share to your friends. That would also be fantastic, as well as visiting our Facebook for the latest World of Tanks news, and whenever we put out videos and live streams. Visit our Twitch TV account if you want to watch Viper the Scottish tanker live streaming on the Geek Zone. That'd be fantastic as well as if you like Twitter, then I'm starting to get really into Twitter. Actually, it's pretty damn cool. Give us a follow on Twitter, and that'd be awesome. Anyway, I hope you like this video, guys. Again, if you want to know what was happening with me last week, go visit the vlog. I might keep doing those. I quite enjoyed doing it, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. But anyway, go visit the vlog, and we'll see what happens with that. And again, share to your friends. I am Will. This was World of Tanks. Thank you so much, Willet, for teaching us how to play the E100, and I will see you tomorrow.